Chapter 6. I'm frantic, pulling open closet doors, looking under what little furniture there is, when I hear someone come noisily into the house. I assume it's 9 because Bernie isn't growling. 9. I yell, "Where'd you hide my chest?" "Look under the kitchen sink." He calls back. I walk into the kitchen. The curling linoleum floor looks like a decrepit chessboard someone's spilled coffee all over. The handles to the cupboard under the sink are loose, and when I pull on them I hear a click. "Wait, 4, 9 yells from the other room. I made the cupboard doors blow open and I fly backwards. "Trap," 9 finishes. A dozen sharpened sticks are shooting straight at me. They're inches away when my instincts kick in and I'm able to deflect them with my telekinesis. The sticks ricochet left and right, stabbing the walls. 9 stands in the doorway laughing. "So sorry, dude, I totally forgot to tell you I rigged that up." Furious, I jump to my feet. Bernie closer skids in and growls at 9, while he berates 9 for his stupidity. I focus on pulling the sticks out of the walls. I will them to hover in the air, aimed at 9. "You don't sound sorry." I'm seriously considering launching the little spears at him when he uses telekinesis to break the sticks into 2, 4 and then 8 pieces and they fall to the floor. "Hey, I really did forget," he says, shrugging. He turns around to head into the other room. "Anyway, grab your chest and get in here, we have to jet, so start pulling your stuff together." My lumen lights up the moldy cupboard and I carefully stick my head under the sink. At first I don't see anything and think 9 is messing with me. I'm about to march into the living room to demand he return my chest to me when I notice something. The left side of the cupboard goes deeper than the right. I feel my way around and pull away the false plywood wall. Jackpot, there it is. I grab the chest and carry it out of the kitchen. In the living room 9's digging in his own chest. The chest we rescued from the mug cave. "Good to see you, old friend," he says when he pulls out a short silver staff. Next he grabs a round yellow thing covered with small bumps. It looks like a strange fruit and I half expect him to squeeze it to produce juice. He sets it in his palm, and before I can ask what it is, he whips it down at the floor and quickly backs himself up against the wall. It bounces high after hitting the carpet and changes from yellow to black, expanding to the size of a grapefruit. When it reaches shoulder height the small bumps explode, turning into razor-sharp spikes. I duck and roll in BK's direction to avoid getting impaled. "What the hell?" I shout. "You could have warned me. This is the second time in less than 5 minutes that you've almost killed me." 9 doesn't flinch when the spikes retract violently back into the ball just before it returns to his palm. Hey, would you please relax?" 9 says. He holds the ball close to his eye, causing me to hold my breath. "I knew nothing would hit you. I can control it with my mind." "Well, I can control it partly, usually." "Partly? Are you kidding me? I didn't see a lot of control just now. I had to jump out of the way." 9 takes the ball away from his eye, looking a little chagrined. "Not enough, though. Right now, I can only control the color." "That's it?" I'm incredulous. He shrugs. BK tells him to stop fooling around. "Hey, I'm just checking to make sure I remember how everything works. Everything I know how to use, at least," 9 says, dropping the ball back into the chest. "Because you never know." He pulls out the strand of green stones he used back at the mug cave and flings it into the air. It hovers in a perfect circle and sucks debris off the ground like a black hole. It spins towards the back window and glows white, and when 9 snaps his fingers the debris explodes out of the circle, breaking whatever was left of the window. "Check that one off," he laughs. I open my own chest. 9 thinks that there's something in our chests that can help us find the others. The first thing I see is the blue coffee can holding Henri's ashes and I suck in my breath. I'm instantly transported back to the forest in paradise, walking with Sarah through the melting snow to see Henri's dead body. I promised Henri I would take him back to Lorien, and I still plan on it. I carefully move the coffee can to the floor next to the chest and grab the dagger with the diamond blade. letting the handle extend and wrap itself around my fist. I turn it over, looking at the blade. I release the dagger and continue to sift through the items. I try not to dwell on the objects I don't know. The star-shaped talisman, the collection of brittle leaves tied with twine, the bright red oval bracelet, and I stay away from the crystal that's double-wrapped in towels and stuffed into a plastic bag. The last time I touched that crystal, my stomach convulsed and acid climbed up my throat. I push aside the smooth yellow trees rock that transfers legacies and pick up an oblong crystal that is full of memories. Its surface is waxy with a cloudy inside, and it's the first thing Henri ever pulled out of the chest to show me. When the cloud swirled, it meant my first legacy was developing. This crystal was the beginning. Then I see Sam's dad's glasses and the white tablet 6 and I found in Malcolm Good's office in the well. That's enough to snap me back to reality. I look over at 9. Maybe something in our chests can get us through the blue force field. I think the effect of it is weakened. Anyway, there may be a chance we can get to Sam tonight. Would be nice if something in the chest would help us do that. That's for sure, 9 says in a casual tone, his eyes focused on the purple pebble he is balancing on the back of his hand. It disappears. What's that? I ask. He turns over his hand and the pebble reappears on his palm. I have no idea, but it would be a killer conversation starter with the ladies, don't you think? I shake my head and slide the red bracelet from my chest over my hand. I hope it will propel me into the air or shoot the ring of lasers, but it just hangs there on my wrist. I wave my arm over my head, asking it to work, begging it to reveal its powers. Nothing happens. Maybe you should try licking it? 9 laughs, watching me. I'll try anything, I mutter, frustrated. I keep it on and hope something will just happen. Everything in my chest came from the elders. Everything has a purpose, so I know it must do something. My hand brushes against the velvet bag holding the 7 orbs that make up Lorian's solar system. I pull open the bag and drop the stones into my hand and show them to 9. Remembering the day that Henri first showed them to me. Are these what you're looking for to find the others? Henri had these. This is how we figured out another member of the guard was in Spain. I've never seen those before. What do they do? I blow softly on the stones and they glow, coming to life. Bernie Koser barks at the sight of the orbs hovering over my palm. They have become planets and orbit the sun. Just as I'm about to shine my lumen onto Lorian to see it in its lush, green state as it was the day before the Mogadorian attack, the orbs once again speed up and brighten and I can no longer control them. 9 comes closer and we watch as the planets collide one by one with the sun until there is just a large single ball in front of us. The new globe rotates on its axis and flashes a light so bright we have to shield our eyes. Eventually, the globe dims and sections of its surface rise and recede until we're looking at a perfect replica of Earth. 9 is mesmerized. The Earth rotates and we immediately see 2 pinpricks of pulsing light, one on top of the other. Once we can orient ourselves, we see they are in West Virginia. There we are, I say. The ball continues to rotate and we see there's another pulse of light in India. A 4th is moving north quickly from what looks like Brazil. When I was showing 6 and Sam our solar system a few days ago in the car, the same thing happened. It turned into a globe of the Earth. It was the first time it ever did that, I say. I'm confused. 9 says, there are only 4 dots on this thing and there are supposed to be 6 of us left. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. When this happened before, a dot showed up in Spain, I say. Then the globe went all fuzzy and we heard someone who sounded panicked yelling the name Adelina. We assumed she was another member of the guard. That's when 6 decided to go to Spain, to try to find her. I figured this was how you planned to contact the others, but I guess not if you've never seen it before. 9's eyes go wide. Wait, oh my god, man, I haven't seen this thing before, but I think Sander told me about it. To be honest, when we opened my chest the first time, the silver staff and the yellow porcupine ball were so amazing I only half listened to anything he said after. But now I remember, He told me some of us had a red crystal, which I do, and that's what I thought I'd use to communicate with the others, and some of us have the solar system. I don't get it. He turns to his chest, grabs a glowing red crystal the size of a cigarette lighter, slams the lid of his chest, and turns back to me. I glance at the solar system and gasp, one of the blue dots in West Virginia has disappeared. Whoa, hold on, open up your chest again, I want to see something. 9 obeys and a second blue dot reappears on the globe in West Virginia. Okay, now, close it. He closes it and the dot disappears again. This is boring, he says. When 9 speaks, the Earth globe grows fuzzy and vibrates with a half-second delay of his voice. Wait, what was that? Why is my voice echoing? The Earth vibrates again. This is not boring. This is incredible, I say, staring at the globe. The reason we don't see all 6 of the Guard members on the globe is because the orb only reveals the members of the Guard who have their chests open at that exact moment. Watch, I lift the lid of 9's chest. 9 whistles. Very cool. 4. Very cool. Half a second later we hear his voice through the globe again. 9 puts his crystal down, having figured it out, but judging by the speed of this guy here, I say, pointing to the dot in motion, whoever is in South America has to be on a plane. It's covering too much ground too fast to be doing anything else. Why would they have their chest open on a plane? 9 asks. That's stupid. Maybe they're in trouble. Maybe they're hiding in the bathroom trying to figure out what all this stuff actually does, just like we are. Can they see us right now, too? I don't know, but maybe they can hear us. I think if you hold on to that red crystal, any of us with this macrocosm Earth can hear you. If half of us have a crystal, and the other half have the power to get this big glowing globe up and running, then the only way for us to actually communicate back and forth would be if a couple of us teamed up first. I interrupt. Well, now that we're together, maybe we should try to talk to the others, you know, in case their macrocosms are going. I say, maybe another pair has gotten together like us. 9 grabs the red crystal and holds it near his mouth like a microphone. Hello? Testing 1, 2, 3. He clears his throat. Okay, if any of you Guard members are out there standing in front of a glowing ball, listen up. 4 and 9 are together and we're ready to meet up with you. We want to train and end all this bullshit and get back to Lorien. Pronto. We're not going to say exactly where we are in case any mugs are listening in, but if you have your macrocosm going you'll see 2 dots together, and they are, us. So, a broken bar. 9 looks at me and shrugs his shoulders. That is all. Over and out and stuff. The skin on my wrist suddenly feels numb under the bracelet. I shake it and my arm begins to tingle. Wait, say we're about to get out of here and for them to make their way to the United States. That's where Gus Ra, the Mogadorian leader, is. Tell them we're going after him and we're going to rescue our friends as soon as we can. The Earth in front of me buzzes to life with 9's echoing voice. Everyone come to America ASAP. Gus Ra has shown his ugly face over here and we're aiming to smash it in and take him down real soon. We'll send out another message tomorrow. Stay tuned. 9 drops the red crystal back into his chest, looking way too pleased with himself, then kind of embarrassed that he just talked into a ball. I frown. My right arm has gone ice cold, and I'm about to rip off this bracelet before putting the orbs back into the velvet bag when the Earth grows fuzzy again. Then there's the sound of an explosion, followed by a voice I know well. It's the same girl I heard before. The girl 6 went to Spain to seek out. She's yelling, 6. You okay? We hear a scream and 2 more explosions rock the fuzzy edges of the globe. I grab 9's crystal out of his chest, frantic to try to communicate with her. 6, I yell. I would jump into the thing if I could figure out how. It's me, John. Can you hear me? There's no response. We hear the faint sounds of the blades of a helicopter before the globe goes silent again and the Earth's edges grow solid. The pulsing light in India is now gone. Suddenly, the globe shrinks and reforms into the 7 orbs, each of which falls to the ground. That did not sound good, 9 says, scooping up the stones. He drops them back into my chest and takes his crystal out of my frozen hand. 6 is in trouble, the kind of trouble that involves explosions and helicopters and mountains. And all of this is happening now, halfway around the world. How am I going to get to India? Where can I get on a plane? 6 is the chick who gave you the map to the mountain, the one who abandoned you and your boy to jet off to Spain? 9 asks. That's her, I say, kicking my chest shut, fists clenched tight. My head is swimming. What's wrong with 6? Who is the other girl? The one I've now heard twice. I notice my arm feels strange. Hearing her voice distracted me so much I forgot about the growing discomfort there. I try to remove the bracelet from my wrist, and it burns my fingers. Something's going on with this thing. I think something may be wrong with it. 9 shuts his chest and reaches over. The bracelet? As soon as he touches it he rips his hand away. Damn, it zapped me. Well, what do? I try snapping my arm out, hoping I can fling the bracelet off. Bernie Kosar trots over to smell the bracelet, but stops mid-stride and jerks his head up to stare at the front door. His ears rise and the fur on his back bristles. Someone's here, he says. 9 and I look at each other and start to slowly back into the room, away from the door. We'd been so engrossed in everything in our chests, and in hearing the voice through the globe, that we'd let our guard down, and weren't paying attention to our surroundings. Suddenly, the door is blown off its hinges. Smoke bombs fly through the windows, sending glass shards everywhere. I want to fight, but the pain from the bracelet is now so intense I can't move. I fall to my knees. I see a flash of green light and hear 9 shout out in pain. He falls down next to me. I've seen that green light before. That is the unmistakable green light of a Mogadorian cannon. End of the chapter. Chapter 7. Bullets whistle by, exploding in the dirt all around us. Ella and I take cover behind the wreckage of one of the trucks. The bullets seem to be coming from everywhere, from every direction, from every angle. Ella's been hit. The air is so thick with dust from all the commotion. I can't even see her wounds. I gently run my hands over her body until I feel the wet, sticky blood and find a bullet hole in her lower thigh. When I touch it, she cries out in pain. I use the most soothing voice I can muster. Given the circumstances, it's going to be okay. Marina can help you. We just need to find her. I pick Ella up and start carefully moving away from the truck, shielding her with my body. I almost trip over Marina and Creighton, who are huddled behind another piece of debris. Come on, Ella's hurt. We have to get out of here. There are too many of them. If we try to run now, they'll kill us. Let's treat Ella first, then fight back, Creighton says. I set Ella down next to Marina. She's still wearing the dark glasses. I can see her wound clearly now. Her blood is flowing steadily. Marina places her hands on Ella's leg and closes her eyes. Ella inhales sharply, her chest beginning to rise and fall at a rapid pace. It really is amazing to see Marina's legacy in action. Another explosion sounds nearby and a blast of dust sweeps over us just as Ella's wound contracts, pushing the bullet out of her flesh. The gash turns from black and red back to the color of her pearly white skin. An outline of a small bone shifts just below the surface of her skin and Ella's body slowly begins to relax. I rest my hand on Marina's shoulder, relieved, and say, "That was incredible, Marina, thanks. It was pretty cool, wasn't it?" Marina removes her hands from Ella, who slowly props herself up onto her elbows. Creighton gives her a hug. A helicopter roars overhead and decimates 2 trucks with a spray of bullets. A chunk of metal lands close to me. It's a piece of smoldering truck door, the red number 8 just barely visible. The sight of it fills me with anger. Now that Ella is healed, I'm ready to fight back. Now we move on them. I yell at Creighton. "Is it the Mogadorians?" Marina asks. clicking the lock of her chest shut. Creighton looks over the top of the debris heap we've been hiding behind and ducks back down to report. It's not the mugs, but there are a lot of them and they're coming closer. We can fight here, but it would be better to take it to the mountains, whoever they are. If they aren't here to attack us but are battling Commander Sharma, I see no reason to reveal your powers. An explosion behind us pushes another cloud of dirt our way, and I watch the helicopter circle back around and head straight for us. Marina and I look at each other and we can tell we're both thinking the same thing. There's no way to honor Creighton's request that we not use our legacies and do what we need to do. She takes control of the helicopter and reverses its flight path. Its passengers will never understand what happened, but we know it's out of our way, and regardless of who's inside, we don't want anyone to be in danger's path unnecessarily. Ella and I cheer with relief as we watch the spinning blades disappear into the distance while Creighton watches with a frown. Then Commander Sharma dives behind our cover. "Thank God, you're alive," he says. I'm tempted to say the same thing to him. I thought he was killed when that first rocket struck. Blood trickles from a large cut on his temple, and his right arm hangs awkwardly at his side. "I'm holding you responsible for this," I say, glaring at him. He shakes his head. "Those are soldiers of the Lord's Resistance Front. They are who we were trying to avoid." "What do they want?" I ask. Commander Sharma scans the horizon before looking me in the eyes. "To kill Vishnu, and destroy all of his friends, like you. More are on their way." I move to a crouching stance and carefully peer over the demolished truck. A large brigade of heavily armed vehicles is moving towards us, several helicopters hovering above them. Tiny flashes of light appear from the long line of the trucks and jeeps, and seconds later I hear the bullets zip past us. "Let's go kick some ass," I say. "It's not possible to defeat them here," Commander Sharma says, picking up a machine gun with his good hand. "No more than 20 of my men are still fighting. We must take it to higher ground if we want a chance to survive this." "Just let me handle it," I say. "Wait, Six," Creighton says, scooping up Marina's chest. "He's right, the mountains will give us more cover. You can still take out every single one of them. It just won't be as visible, which is good for us. We don't need the mugs picking up on this right now." Marina puts her hand on my arm. "Creighton is right. We need to be smart. Let's not draw more attention to ourselves than we have to." "The mugs?" Commander Sharma asks, confused. "We'll need to be more careful around him." Before anyone can answer, two low-flying helicopters zip in with their guns blazing. Several of the commander's soldiers are mowed down, their weapons blown to useless shards of metal. If we're going to run, it's now or never. I use my telekinesis to pull on the tail of one of the helicopters, tipping the nose down. It looks like a rodeo horse trying to buck its rider as the pilot struggles furiously to level the copter out. We watch the pilot give a particularly hard yank to the joystick and two men bounce right out of the cabin. They weren't very high in the air, so the fall shouldn't injure them much. I look over at our fleet of stalled SUVs and see smoke rising faintly from one of the tailpipes. An engine is still running. I shout, "Let's go, now!" Everyone rushes from behind the cover. Commander Sharma yells for his few remaining men to retreat. The brigade is less than 100 yards away. As we run I feel a bullet zip through my hair. Another one rips through my forearm. But before I can scream, Marina is right next to me, her icy hands tending to my injury as we run. All but one of the commander's soldiers follows his orders to retreat. That lone soldier follows the commander, running with us. We reach the SUV and get in Sadia, the four of us, plus Commander Sharma and the one soldier. Creighton steps on the gas and whips us onto the road. Bullets tear through the tail end of our truck, shattering the back windshield, but we're able to maneuver around a small rock formation and evade the relentless gunfire. This is not a road built for speed. It's full of potholes, rocks and other debris, and Creighton struggles to keep us from careening off the shoulder. The SUV is overflowing with guns. I find a shotgun and crawl into the back. waiting for a target. Marina follows suit, leaving her chest with Ella. Now that I have a moment to gather my thoughts, I'm angry. We thought if number 8 remained in the mountains, we would be safe here, under the radar. Instead, we are being attacked because of him. If we survive this, I am so going to tear 8 a new one. Where are we going? Creighton yells over his shoulder. Just stay on this road, the commander says. I look over my shoulder and see the Himalayan mountains through the windshield. They are slowly getting closer, their jagged tops growing more menacing. Up ahead, the brown desert ends, and a curving band of green surrounds the base of the mountains. Why do these guys want to kill number 8? I ask Commander Sharma, the barrel of my shotgun bouncing off the frame of the back window. The Lord's Resistance Front does not believe he is Vishnu. They believe we are blasphemous, accepting this mountain boy as the supreme god. They want to kill us in his name. 6. Ella yells. Incoming. She's still wearing the glasses. I look out the back window in time to see something fire out of the helicopter. It's a missile of some sort heading straight for us. I use my telekinesis and send it directly into the desert floor, where it explodes. The helicopter fires 2 more missiles. Time to take these dudes out. I yell, let's do this one together, Marina. She nods, and instead of directing the rockets into the ground this time, we loop them so they're heading directly back at the copter. We watch grimly as the helicopter explodes in a giant fireball. We never try to kill, but, given a choice between killing versus being killed, I will pick us every time. Awesome work. 6, says Ella. Yippee-ki-yay, and all that. I reply with a grim smile. Do you think they'll leave us alone now? Asks Marina. I don't think it's going to be that easy, says Commander Sharma. She has all the same type of powers as the boy you call Vishnu, says Creighton, motioning towards me. Will that be enough to dissuade them? Do you think they'd still try to fight him? They would if they could find him, says the commander. How many are there in the Lord's Resistance Front? I ask Commander Sharma. In total, thousands, and they have wealthy donors who support them in any way they need, hence the helicopters, Creighton says. They have worse than that, the commander adds. The best plan for us is to outrun them, Creighton says to the commander. I'll drive as fast as I can. If we have to fight, we'll fight, but I'd like to avoid it. 5 minutes pass in tense silence. Marina and I monitor the brigade in the distance, and whenever we pass something large enough, we use our telekinesis to drop it in the path behind us. The tall trees that have begun to dot the sides of the road quickly form a thick line of defense. The car dips into an extremely narrow valley before beginning to ascend the mountain. We have just come to the base when Commander Sharma tells Creighton to stop. I lean forward in my seat and see dozens of small mounds in the dirt. Landmines? I ask. I'm not sure, the commander says, but they weren't there 2 days ago. Is there another route to wherever we're going? Creighton asks. No, this is the only path, Commander Sharma says. Suddenly, we hear the sound of helicopter blades, but I don't see them yet. They're hidden behind the tall trees. Of course, that means they can't see us either, though it sounds like they aren't very far off anymore. We're sitting ducks if we stay here, I say, my mind racing to figure out our next best move. Creighton opens his door and steps out with a machine gun under his arm. Okay, this is it. He points up and to our right. We either go up there and get behind a line of trees and fight, or we keep running straight up the mountain. I follow him out. I'm not running. Neither am I, says Marina, standing next to me. Then we fight, says Commander Sharma. He points into the hills. Half of us set up on the left while the other half takes position on the right. I will take these 2 with me. He indicates Ella and me. Creighton and I look at each other and nod. Ella turns to Creighton. You okay without me, Papa? Creighton smiles. Marina's legacy will make sure whatever they do to me won't last long. I think I'll be okay. I'll keep an eye on him. Ella, Marina adds. Are you sure we should do this, Commander? The soldier asks. I can go to fetch Vishnu, bring him back to help, No, Lord Vishnu should stay where he's safe. Kraden turns to Ella. Keep those glasses on. Maybe you can be our eyes up there in the trees. I'm still not sure how they work, but let's hope they'll help now. I hug Marina and whisper into her ear, be confident in your abilities. I should heal Commander Sharma before you go, she says. No, I whisper, I don't trust him yet and he's less dangerous to us if he's injured. You sure? For now, Marina nods. Kraden taps her arm and beckons her to join him and the young soldier. The three of them scramble up the left wall of the valley, disappearing behind a boulder. Commander Sharma, Ella, and I move up the right side of the hills, carefully avoiding the bumps on the ground as we move. We find a position behind some massive boulders and settle in to wait for the brigade to arrive. I turn to Commander Sharma. I feel slightly guilty about not letting Marina heal him, but for all I know, he set this up as an elaborate trap. How's your arm? I whisper to him. With a grunt, Commander Sharma lies down and sets the barrel of his gun on a flat rock. He looks up and winks. I only need the one. Out of the corner of my eye I can see a helicopter buzz overhead, but it leaves almost immediately. Either Marina took care of it or the pilot couldn't penetrate the thick canopy of the valley. I look through the trees, hoping to manipulate the clouds surrounding the peaks of the mountains, but the afternoon sun has burned them off. With no wind and no clouds, there aren't any elements to control. I can turn invisible if I need to, but I prefer to keep that hidden from the commander for now. What do you see? Ella asks. A whole lot of nothing, I whisper. Commander, how far away is number 8? You mean Vishnu? Not far, a half-day's walk, maybe. I'm about to ask him to tell me where, exactly. We should know it in case something happens to the commander and we need to move forward without him. But I'm distracted when a rusty pickup truck swings into the narrow valley at full speed with a man standing in the open bed. Even from a distance, I can see he's nervous as well as armed. He jerks his gun from side to side, frantically trying to be everywhere at once. As soon as our SUV comes into view, the pickup skids to a stop and the soldier in the back hops out. More vehicles appear and pull up behind the pickup. A soldier drops out of a red van and sets a rocket launcher onto his shoulder. I see an opportunity. I nudge the commander with my foot. I'll be right back. I don't give him a chance to argue as I run quickly into the woods. When he can't see me any longer, I use my invisibility legacy to disappear and sprint down into the valley. The soldier has our truck in his crosshairs, but before he can pull the trigger I rip the rocket launcher off his shoulder and slam one end into his belly. He doubles over and goes down with a scream. Hearing the commotion, the driver of the truck rushes over with a pistol in his hand. I point the rocket launcher at his face. The soldier takes a split second to decide if the free-floating launcher is about to do its thing, then turns and runs away with his arms above his head. I aim at the now empty, rusty pickup and pull the trigger. The rocket flies out of my launcher and a wave of fire explodes under the pickup, blowing it 30 feet into the air. The burning truck lands hard and bounces and rolls quickly forward, the momentum sending it into the back of our SUV with a crash. I watch it lurch forward, rolling slowly over the small mounds in the road that had stopped us from advancing. The next 30 seconds are filled with ear-splitting, rapid detonations, as soldiers fire blindly around them and the mounds in the road explode. Thousands of birds burst out from the trees all around us, their sounds quickly drowned out by the snap, crackle and pop of munitions doing their thing. I was right, they were landmines, and now our SUV is nothing more than a smoldering pile of metal. Evidently, this was just the opening act. The main attraction are armored vehicles, small tanks, mobile missile units is closing in on the mountain. There have to be a couple thousand soldiers on foot. 5 or 6 attack helicopters hover overhead. I hear a whirring and turn to see a missile launcher rising and rotating, going into operational mode. The tips of 5 white missiles turn up and towards the area where Marina and Kraden have taken cover. There's movement in the tree line, and the commander's young soldier runs down into the valley. He's unarmed and headed right for the missile launcher. At first I think he's going to sacrifice himself somehow to save my friends, but no one fires at him. He stops when he reaches the launcher and starts pointing higher up the side of the mountain, to where Creighton and Marina are hiding. The launcher rises another few feet and adjusts its aim. He's a traitor, part of the group trying to kill us. The next thing I know, he is flying into the air, yanked upward by telekinesis. Marina must have realized the same thing, but it might be too late. He's already revealed her location. I look towards the missile launcher and gather my strength so I can alter the flight of the missiles once they're fired. As I start to focus on it, another launcher whirs to life and aims its missiles directly at me. Though I'm invisible, the army knows a shoulder rocket was fired from where I am standing. I only have the power to deal with one of them, and there's no time to run. I have a choice: save Creighton and Marina or save myself. The launcher pointed towards the mountain starts firing. The missiles come screaming out, heading straight for the hills. I get control of them and redirect them into the ground, where they explode. Just as the second launcher fires, I turn and see their white tips moving towards me. I don't have time to do anything, but suddenly the missiles loop up and turn back towards the launcher that fired them and the brigade. They barrel into 5 different vehicles, all of which explode. Marina, she saved my life. We are working together, just as we were meant to do, and the thought makes me feel more determined than before to get this pit stop over with and find date. I want to send a message to the remaining soldiers of the brigade, so I stop using my invisibility legacy and show myself. I focus and, with my telekinesis, start to control the flames rising from where the missiles exploded. I spread the fire down the road to engulf the rest of the brigade. One by one, the flames move down the row of vehicles and it's like exploding dominoes. Message received. The remaining soldiers of the Lord's Resistance Front begin to retreat. For a second, I'm tempted to indulge in a little retribution, but that's cruel and unnecessary and exactly the kind of thing the Mogadorians would do. I know my fantasies of going medieval on their retreating asses are not going to help us now. That's right, run, because if you don't, that fire is just waiting to finish the job off. When the last one disappears from view, I turn and start walking back towards the hills. I need to find my friends. End of the chapter.